When I first told people that I was going to grow food on Svalbard, they laughed. They thought it was funny. They thought it was a joke. They thought I was crazy. But I had this idea to make the place green. I don't know if you know anything about Svalbard. It's all rocks, stones. When it's snow, it's very beautiful. But in the summer, it looks like another planet. And I had many people tell me no along the way. And I didn't take these no's personally. I just used them to find another way to get what I wanted to get and to get things done. And I remember someone told me it's not impossible. It's just pointless. And that pointless really stuck with me. Like, how can it be pointless to have fresh local food grown on Svalbard, on the island, instead of importing everything? Everything is imported. It comes by boat, it comes by plane. When it comes by boat, it's a little cheaper, but it's not as fresh. And it's more for like things that are like, can last longer, like potatoes, carrots, these type of things. You maybe send with the boat. But like milk, salads, herbs, these type of things, they need to go with plane. And then it becomes very expensive. So how can it be pointless is what I couldn't understand. I'm Polar Chef Ben. This is Chew on This, and let's chew on that. I first want to talk a little bit about a story where I was told no. How it was when I wanted to have worms. And I planned to use these worms to compost. I was growing microgreens and herbs. Like, the main one we were growing was basil because it was very beautiful and it had such a lovely smell. And it just wasn't the same like the one you buy that was shipped up, because it's never the same when you have something that's grown locally and doesn't need to move so far, and when you have to grow something to transport it. Like, it just seems like such a waste. We use so much time, energy, and money to ship things up, and then we just throw it into the sea. So I was thinking, what if we could get more uses out of that instead of just dumping it? And so linear, just ship it up, throw it out. It's very linear. But what if we could make it more of a circle? So we could grow the local foods or vegetables or whatever you want to call it. We sell it. And then this material that we used to grow it in, which was like cellulose or it was like some kind of soil, we take it back. And then we compost this. And then we try to use that to grow something else. So that way we keep it going instead of just one-time use. It was much more complicated than I realized, but that was okay. I was up for the challenge. Like, there was no problem about doing a challenge. And I thought that, why not? Like, why not? So I wanted to have worms, composting worms, this red worms, 10 months, 8 to 10 months just to get permission. It was a long process. And people said no, but I said yes. And I just had to find a way to turn that no into a yes. But this was a soft no because it was more about people's opinions. Like, why would he want to have worms, this and that? But after I got the permission, and then I finally imported some worms, and I finally had the worm farming going. It was so nice. It was so amazing. All of the kids would love to come and visit because there we don't have worms. We don't have many insects. So it was like my place was the hangout place. Like, all of the kindergartens were asking, can they bring the kids? They would come there, play with the worms, check how we composted. It was amazing. It was a really, really good project. That's why when someone said pointless, like, I can't say that it was pointless, because even though it was something so simple, whereas we have worms in other places, and there we didn't have it, and all I did was ask to have worms. It was so simple, but it was so important for Svalbard because we don't have worms. And the kids, they loved it, and it was a learning experience, and I showed them how the worms compost, how the worm farm operates. It was a win-win situation. So I started to see that that project was much more than just about growing food or about doing tours. It was about educating people and about bringing the community together. And I remember even having people volunteer. Everybody wanted to volunteer and come and help out and just be in the place because we had a lot of things growing. We had the worms there. It was like being in this own little biome where like you had all of this life and energy. It was amazing. And that's why even me, sometimes I didn't feel like I was on Svalbard because I would just work inside of my lab, work inside of my dome, and just, be around the plants, be around the worms, and just, it felt like I was somewhere else. So I really enjoyed it. And that's why I didn't get bothered by this no, because sometimes you have to have a no before you can get a yes. Those worms were very critical because like I started at the Radisson Polar Hotel there in 2009, and everything on Svalbard, you have to have a garbage disposal. In the houses, you have a garbage disposal. Also in the hotels, we have these huge garbage disposals. And we would just dump things in there and push the button and it would just chop up everything and then it would go out. And I never thought about it. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm just doing my job, putting it in the machine. And then one day a server came to me and said, do you know where all that goes? And I was like shocked because I didn't even think about it. I didn't even really care, to tell you the truth. But then when he told me, he planted the seed, he was like, all of it just goes out into the sea. And then when he told me that, it kind of hit, it hit me like, oh, that can't be good. And then after I knew, I couldn't pretend like I didn't know. So that's, how everything developed from that moment was like, I need to figure out a way to make things better here and not make things worse. No is data, and don't take no personally. And here's what I figured out. A no is not a wall. It's a sign that says, try a different way. In the Arctic, you learn fast. If the ice won't hold you, you don't stand there crying. You find thicker ice. Same in business, same in life. So now when someone tells me no, I ask them these 3 questions. Question number 1, is this a hard no, dealing with law, physics, or ethics, or a soft no, opinion, fear, habit? Number 2, what would have to be true for this to become a yes, if it's a soft no? And then number 3, do I actually want to prove them wrong, or do I want to build something real? And the third question is the most important because chasing revenge is exhausting, building something meaningful is not. I think this is the most critical lesson. Don't take no's personally. And it's very important to define the no. Is it a hard no because it's illegal reasons? Or is it about the laws of physics? Or is it about ethics? Or is it a soft no? And of course, it's very difficult to do anything with hard no's. Like, unless you change the law, unless you can bend physics. But with soft no's, they're more about people's fears, opinions, and habits. No, I think soft no's can be changed because they're just people's opinions. And just because somebody has an opinion doesn't mean you have to agree with it. But I remember when I told people, I want to green this place. I want to grow things. I want to make a change here. And this was after the server told me about all of the food going down to the garbage disposal to the sea. From that moment, I said, I want to make things better here. So let me ask you now. What was the last no you received that still stings? I mean, think about that. Like, think about when people tell you no. How do you take it? How do you react to it? Do you think if it's a hard no? Do you think if it's a soft no? Or do you just, when they say no, you shut down? Like, how do you react when you receive these words, when people say no? And you don't have to answer out loud. I don't want you to say anything out loud, but just notice it. Just notice how it made you feel. Just notice what it did to your mind, to your thinking, to your creative processes. Now, ask yourself, was it a hard no or a soft no? You don't have to tell me. Just think about it. Just think about it. Right? If it's a soft no, someone's opinion, a fear, a bad day, then you have work to do. Not revenge, work. Just next step work. I can't tell you what your next step is, but I can tell you how to find it. Slow down. Look at the problem like a chef looks at a messy kitchen. One thing at a time. That was a lot to unpack, but that's it for this week. If this landed somewhere useful, here's what you can do. 1, join the free community at polarchefben.com. The site is waking up. If it's not live yet, check back tomorrow. 2, if you want to go deeper, look at the Pioneer Expedition. It's 25 euros per month. Tools, my digital twin, also weekly office hours. So I'm checking that. You also can, I'm coaching you with the digital twin. Number 3, if you're ready to build something that lasts, check out my Pathfinder Masterclass. It's 59 euros a month. And that's where I spend my real time. And that's where you get to work with me hands-on. Well, hands-on virtually. I'm just more active there. The Pioneer is more like a self-directed membership site, and the Pathfinder is more hands-on, where I'm actually hands-on working with you. And then there's no lifetime promises. There's no forever communities, just honest work from a chef in Lofoten. I'm Ben. This has been Chew on This. See you next week.